What was your childhood career goal? When I was 4 years old, I remember that was like my first time expressing to my dad that I wanted to be an attorney. And my dad used to hang with some of his friends from his old neighborhood, and they were some unscrupulous characters. And I remember telling them at 4 years old that either I was going to represent them or I was going to prosecute them. And I often reflect over my childhood and my life. And I wonder sometimes, where did all of that passion go? I had so many ambitious dreams and goals as a child, and it seems like as I got older, I started to lose the childhood confidence that I used to embody. And I know that I'm not the only one. It seems like as you live, you see life isn't fair. There are so many challenges just trying to survive, just trying to pay your bills. And then there's so much competition. And so you start to get discouraged. You start to lose your confidence. And when you lose that confidence and you start submitting to being discouraged, you lose your childhood dreams. You lose your dreams. And as you get older, there's this common theme in society that you have to do things young, that there's some type of race, that if you don't get there early, even if you arrive, it doesn't matter because you weren't the first to do it. That thought process and those types of ideals and societal trends, they are the enemy. They are the thief of joy. When you were a child, you didn't set your childhood goals based off of a timeline or based off of a comparison to other people. You set your childhood goals based off of your inner interests and the things that, really spoke to you as a child. Maybe you saw someone flipping and you said, I want to be a gymnast. Or maybe you saw an attorney in a movie and you said, I want to be an attorney. Maybe you saw someone singing and rapping and you said, I want to do this. And then someone told you you couldn't. Someone compared you to someone else. Somewhere in your life, someone pointed out a flaw, a shortcoming, and that robbed you of your passion and your dreams. After becoming a mother, after teaching a child who they told me probably wouldn't speak and probably wouldn't walk, and after teaching that child how to walk and talk, after living on Section 8 and being told by my neighbors that I wasn't going to move to Atlanta and I wasn't going to graduate college, after expressing I wanted to move to Atlanta and finish college, you'll never do it. After doing that, giving up my Section 8, not having family support, and just stepping out on faith and going to Atlanta and getting a corporate job and supporting myself through graduating and not having a support system. When I graduated, my family wasn't at my graduation. It was my daughter and her father. After accomplishing these things and then starting a business and people saying, you want to start a resume business? You're a resume writer. And I did it. And the business, it grew, and it's really big, and it's bigger than even I could have imagined. And as I sit here and I think about my GPA in undergrad, and it wasn't good enough, I never gave myself credit for the fact that during the middle of my junior year, I had given birth to a child, and I was in the hospital and taking an exam while I was in labor. I didn't give myself credit for that. All I looked at was, your GPA wasn't good enough. I didn't think about how I was homeless when I first went to college, how I had to get the Section 8, how I had to pay for the education. I didn't think about any of that. All I thought about was, I'm not summa cum laude. I'm not graduating at the top of my class. So that robbed me of my confidence when I should have been giving myself credit. You finished. If I look at the circle of friends who started college with me versus who was still in college or graduated by the time I graduated. I was the only one who finished. I finished. But I never gave myself credit for that. I said, I'm not good enough to be an attorney. I'm not good enough to go to law school. I won't get in. And I didn't even try. And instead, I settled and I got my master's degree. And I said, at least when I get my master's degree, I can prove that my GPA, I can earn the GPA that's required to get into law school. Even if it won't be considered, at least you can see that I have the knowledge. And then I graduated and I still didn't feel worthy enough. Now, I recently graduated with my second master's degree, and I'm at the end of my 20s, and I'm thinking about all those ambitious law students who will be entering law school at 21, at 22, at 23, and here I am at the end of my 20s, and I'm just now going to law school. But I had to write my personal statement, and one of the schools that I'm applying to asked me about my professional accomplishments. And I said, I'm going to give myself credit for everything that I have accomplished. Because everyone's journey is not created equally. There are some people who arrive young. What support do they have? What funding do they have? What relationships do they have that maybe were afforded to them because of who their parents were, or, because their parents were able to pay their way through college and pay their rent, whatever. I will no longer compare myself or my journey to the journey of others because the cards were not decked out equally. I won't go to law school thinking that I'm an old law student. I'm going to law school with the thought process that I am an accomplished, seasoned professional with life experience. And that is how I'm going to present myself in my personal statement. Tomorrow, I take the LSAT Flex at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I will be going to law school in the fall. An old law student. Finally, accomplishing a dream that was born when I was 4.